let's review the structure of a hemming foot before we get started. The right side has a scroll, and what this does is this forces the raw edge of the fabric to fold within itself, and that creates the even hem finish. Let's turn this over and look at the wrong side. The wrong sides have this groove or channel, so have you, and this dictates the size of the hem. So hemming feet come in different sizes. For instance, the 1/8 of an inch hemmer is good for silks and finer fabrics, where the 1/4 of an inch hemmer is good for medium weight fabrics such as cotton and wool. Now let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, so the foot is latched in place, and I'm going to start off with the silk chiffon because it is a more challenging fabric to work with. You're going to take the edge of your fabric and work your way into the scroll. Use your index finger to pull it through. And once it reaches or hits the curve on the foot, that's where you stop. And then carefully bring down your foot and start sewing. Now, before I continue any further, once the fabric is inserted, take your index finger and place it against the inside of the fabric. This is going to create a fold. The fold is about 1/4 of an inch, the one that I'm creating, and the fold is 2 times the size of the foot. So the hemmer is 1/8 of an inch, so you're going to need 1/4 of an inch because the hemmer encases the raw edge, and that's how you get the nice, beautiful finished hem. Take your time. Remember, I had this on a curve. I'm using the contrasting thread because I want you to see the finished product, but obviously you'd use the same color thread for your fabric. And let's look at the finished product. Very pretty. That wasn't that difficult. Just make sure you practice it on scrap before you hem on the actual garment itself, because you won't be really happy if you have to unbase this, especially on chiffon. Okay, so let's go on to the next piece. Okay, so our next piece is the silk charmeuse, and if you were able to hem the chiffon, then this should be a lot more manageable. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to feed the edge of the fabric into the scroll. It's not working with me, and that happens. Just be patient. Remember, you could always use the pin, but I just don't want to. Alright, I think I got it in. We'll see. Alright, so just use the index finger to create the fold. When you're feeding the fabric through, make sure you hold it taut on the other end. This way it doesn't warp. Another thing, forgot to mention this, very important, make sure the fabric doesn't go outside the edge of the foot, the inside of the foot, that is. So you got caught in there just a little. Usually it's so much easier on a straight edge, but the truth of the matter is if you're sewing silks and if you're hemming skirts, it's usually on a curve, so it's better to get practice on the curve because the straight edge is a cinch to work with. Okay, let's look at the finished product. And I use the contrasting thread so you could see what I've done. Very nice, and the raw edge was encased.